Everyone, it's Libby from maighstirtarot. If I sound worn out, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, I'm looking forward to the day when we don't have to read on this administration anymore to see what they're up to. Okay, first of all, welcome to you, your guides, my guides of the universal energies, to the lands of the Worimi First Nations people. It's WORIMI, the traditional custodians of the lands on which these videos are made. Absolute pleasure to have you along. Okay, what do I want to have a look at? Well, I'm just going to throw very quickly a couple of cards on the tariffs that Felon 45 declared and just see whether they'll hold. And then I'll get on to what I actually wanted to have a read on today. Just because somebody declares and scribbles his name on a so-called piece of paper does not make it so. I'm just going to put it out there, does not make it so. Australia, gosh, in one of our past prime ministers, who was a scathing prime minister, and you'll know who I'm talking about when I say Keating. He told it as it was, but boy, oh boy, he could really bring it. Didn't like him, but you know. Sometimes you got to respect the dude. He basically said this nuclear submarine deal that Scotty from marketing and our previous conservative government made with the US was the worst deal ever. So Australia 3 days ago, handed over $800 million, which, you know, we're only 26 million people, to the Department of Defence for some submarines to be delivered. You know, it was a down payment. It wasn't even the full payment for some submarines to be delivered at an undetermined time in the future, sometime in the 2030s. Not even 36 hours passed after that money was handed over when Felon 45 came out and declared that there will be a 25% tariff on Australian steel and aluminium, or aluminium, we call it aluminium, I know some people call it aluminum, going into the United States. Now, Australia owes the United States money, so therefore Felon 45 claiming that he brings these tariffs to try and balance up trade differences, etc., is just absolute BS. Apparently our Prime Minister, Albanese, rang and said, oh, you know, he did say that Australia would be exempt from these tariffs. However, this morning, apparently Felon 45 signed and across the board, 25% on everybody, no exclusions. So I'm really annoyed at our current government, which is like the democratic government. It's more for the people, not perfect, but more for the people. Oh gosh, I wish I'd just called them out from the start. This is the government that prevented Don Jr. from coming here, from Steve Bannon from coming here, because they are undesirables. I wish they had also stood up to Felon 45. So I'm just going to throw a couple of cards. Show me, will these tariffs against Australian steel stand? Will tariffs against Australian steel? I gather the US then asked for some Canadian steel. Can't remember what happened. Just put in don't even know who it was. Put in an order for their usual Canadian steel. And from what I read somewhere, I may be wrong, but what I read somewhere is that Canada said no. Nope, not going to put it. If you want to send the tariffs, we're not sending the steel. Fair enough. Okay, asking about the Australian. Yes, puppy dog's still there in the background. Lunacy, simple. Lunacy. It's about trade, financial trade, and it may be going to the international courts because Australia has an international deal with the United States for our steel and aluminium. This is nothing more than an abuse of power, a win at any cost. There's going to be some sort of announcement made, information brought forward, a declaration, and some sort of, well, it might be a new agreement or standing firm and then one of the parties saying, yeah, nah, see you later. And then that's the end of it. Looking at the loss and things coming to an end, I'm getting that I don't think this is the tariffs. I think this is more about, so it'll go to the courts. There might be a court ruling on it, but there might be something to do with a new opportunity. A new opportunity comes up for the Australian steel and aluminium market. And I think what's going to happen is Australia's just going to walk and bring an end to it. Well, that's going to be interesting, especially since Canada's said, see you later. Okay, I might just have another look at this. Is another country, putting them randomly in there. It's very similar to China, tariffs on Australia because they didn't like that. Again, Scotty from marketing with his terrible diplomatic ways. Gosh, that card keeps showing itself to me. Moving on, power moment. Scotty from marketing, our previous equivalent, Trump wannabe, Colin 45 wannabe, really cheesed up the Chinese in regards to the COVID virus. The Chinese slapped massive tariffs on Australian wine, beef, lobster, possibly a couple of other things as well. So the Australian industries, those that sort of took a deep breath and sort of truth coming out, took a deep breath and managed to hold on, went looking for markets elsewhere in the world. For a few years, the Chinese went, oh, please come back, we'll drop the tariffs. Well, tough biggies, we've got these new markets. Will Australia find new markets? Absolutely. Absolutely. Big yes. Challenged by, don't take on the little fella. We punch above our weight. The little fella bringing the sword of truth. Judgment moment, collective awakening. Absolutely. In the past, no surprises whatsoever. But in the past, so I'm asking, is Australia going to find other markets? Down in the blacksmith's forge, forging steel and aluminium, working together with others, creating new opportunities, working together with others, coming out of the forge, out of the fire, finding a new path beyond the snake in the immediate future. The light has been shone on the snake that he cannot be trusted. And finding a path past it, something unexpected out of left field externally, unexpected new markets, internally, action being taken, hopes and fears downfall. Yeah, it's not necessarily going to be easy, but is this Felon 45's downfall and with all these swords of truth? The King of Swords, new plan, new strategy. Again, another action card. It's going to result in not a good outcome for US families, but new partnerships, new beginnings. This could also be negotiations happening, plans happening, something transformative, so contracting in before then new partnerships and agreements, and karma coming in, lighting on the bum and the wheel turning. I'm going to say yes, Australia is going to find new markets for its steel and aluminium, and it's not going to be the US market. And it's very potentially going to backfire. This is about looking for new overseas opportunities, choices. It's my dementia card, but aside from that, it's like looking at the options available, and there will be one obvious other option available. Why am I feeling it's India? Huge market, bigger than China. I'm even feeling it's India. And positive announcements being made. It's usually my Leon card, but I'm not feeling it's Leon. And there's just, again, another king, action being taken in regards to these new opportunities. Queen of Swords, strategy and planning in regards to this. Or this could simply be Leon and Harris. And then we've got the steel, the abuse of power, surrendering to new information that comes out with that Nine of Wands, and justice. And then we've got my Biden card. Okay. Bigger picture stuff here. Yeah, I'm just gonna say Australia. I'm just gonna say I think we're going to find new markets. I don't quite know how that's going to work. I'm feeling India. I'm also getting, no, thank you. I'm getting Canada's going to then deal directly with Mexico. Um, yeah, there's a harsh truth coming here. A harsh truth in regards to this lunacy that they're going to have to face. New beginnings, new agreements, walking away from what does not work towards something new. I just get Australia's going to find new markets. However, how is this going to affect hearing egg face? This was not what I was going to read on today, but anyhow, let's have a look. How is this going to affect? Yeah, felon 45s. This is going to be really interesting. I'm going to have a look at the bigger picture here. Because these countries, Canada, Australia, Mexico, China, Europe, I'm lumping Europe all in one, these major markets are just not going to do business with the US. They're just not. And you can't force us. And why am I hearing about, yeah, they're going to find themselves isolated? The US. Now, I'm sorry about you guys in the US having to go through this because it just really sucks. But what is springing to mind is Leon is suing advertisers for not advertising. Sorry, I'm just fixing my light there. For not advertising on Twitter. You can't sue people. So no, that's market forces. You can't force someone unless you have a contract. And what's happened is it may that this goes to the international court, and because the US has broken their trade contract with Australia, Australia can then step away from it. And I think that's going to happen in several instances around the world. Oh boy, oh boy. So how is this going to, how is this? That's what I'm feeling. I mean, you can't, if you break your contract, you can't sue the other party for not filling the contract because you broke. I mean, just what? Um, okay, how's this going to play out for Felon 45? How's it going to play out for Felon 45? If you're wondering, I'm using the Light Seers, not the Light Seers Tarot, the Gilded Tarot Royale. It's my everyday deck. Let's have a look. How's this going to play out for Felon 45? This trade contract breaking. How is this going to play out? You wanted that one, okay. Okay, thank you. And you want that, you want it in that order. Okay, do what you're told. Come on down. How's it going to play out? Still a puppy dog. Felon 45. He has no idea what he's doing. Naivety. Wanting to go back to how things were. Well, sorry, you broke it, you paid for it, you pay for it. But it's also one of my dementia cards, reverting to childlike behaviour. How's it going to turn out for the US? Okay, challenged by, they have a choice about which path they want to take forward. You have a choice. Strength and light or darkness and thicket. There are obstacles in the distance there. It's not going to be the easiest path, but there will be in the distance obstacles to overcome. So how's this going to play out for Felon 45? Well, there's Leon Rat at the bottom, Rattus, in the past. Putting the tariffs on, basically, trying to keep trading partners out in the cold while they gobble up all the money themselves. It's also my financial, moral, ethical corruption card, but basically trying to force other countries to plead to be let in. So I'm hoping Anthony Albanese, will just, oh gosh, I'd love to see him tell him where to put it. How's it going to end? It's not going to end well. It's not going to end well for Felon 45. We've got here finding themselves restricted, self-imposed restrictions, trying to keep a lid on the emotions about it all because it's not going to plan, legal cases. I just get the feeling they're going to be taken to the World Trade Organization. Is that who it is? Felon 45 and his administration need to take the blindfold off in regards to this. I just get the feeling they just don't know what they're doing. Hopes and fears. Significant ending, new beginning, new markets. Packing up the swords and moving elsewhere. Calmer waters. Hidden agendas being revealed, secrets being revealed. Also taking the higher path in regards to this. A lot of hard work happening behind the scenes with the Eight of Pentacles and new announcements coming out with the Eight of Wands. Okay, be prepared in the US for a recession. Your economy, I feel, is going to go into retreat. It's going to contract. I don't think it's going to take the rest of the world with it. But this is also about being wounded and having to retreat to contemplate the truth of the matter. And as I said, Australia's played this game before with China. Contemplate your attempted manipulation with the Magician in regards to tariffs with the Six of Pentacles, about the false knight making claims that don't hold water, and we've got the World. The World is shutting the door, opening another one. End of a cycle, new cycle. Big announcements coming out to do with partnerships and the rejection of the misogynistic bullying, basically. New plans, new options. And the little guy, Page of Swords, who brings the Sword of Truth, is going to hold the strength position against the bully. And it's going to be a bitter truth for the bully to swallow. Oh boy. Really, really, really could keep going. I mean, if I kept going, storyteller that I am, contracts and agreements being made, emotional contracts and agreements with Russia. This is not Australia. This is potentially felon 45 chatting to Russia about, can we have some coin, please? Don't think the Kremlin's got any coin. And it's just lunacy. And the secret is going to come out. Truth of it is going to come out. Oh, man. Okay, I am going to leave that there. As I said, I wasn't planning on reading this. I was actually going to have a look at Shady and Rattus trying to dismantle the courts. I'll have a look at that in a minute. Okay, love to you all. Take care.